All right, I confess, I did it!
Did what?
Peekaboo!
I blew up the baby!
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid is a very entertaining 1992 sequel to the 1989 Disney hit Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Picking up 3 years after the events of the first movie, Rick Moranis returns as scientist and inventor Wayne Szalinski. He and his wife Diane, played by Marcia Strassman, have moved the family from Fresno, California to the suburbs of Las Vegas, Nevada. They have also welcomed a new son, 2-year-old Adam. In the meantime, while Diane sees daughter Amy off to her new college dorm, Wayne takes care of Adam. His older son Nick Szalinski, played by Robert Oliveri, is now a teenager, and while he's still nerdy, he has taken up guitar playing and develops a crush on a teenage girl named Mandy Park, played by Kerry Russell in her film debut.
Mandy?
Yeah, Rick?
Nick.
Nick.
Mickey! Want a ride?
What channel?
Wayne has licensed his shrinking device to a company called Sterling Labs and has developed a new derivative of his machine that makes objects grow in size. His co-worker at the lab, Dr. Charles Hendrickson, played by actor John Shea, dislikes Szalinski and laments his frustrations to Terrence Wheeler, who's on the board of directors, played by actor Gregory Sierra.
Why Clifford insists on keeping him involved is absolutely beyond me. If I were running this project by myself right now, we'd be neck deep in apples the size of Buicks.
There are those of us on the board who would agree with you. Clifford Sterling just may have outlived his usefulness. To the corporation, to his stockholders, I should think his successor would be a foregone conclusion. Especially if you were the one to actually make this thing work.
Wayne takes Nick and Adam to Sterling Labs and tests out his new enlarging machine on Adam's stuffed toy, Big Bunny. However, while Nick and Wayne look away at a computer screen, Adam attempts to retrieve the toy and is zapped by the machine, which appears to short circuit and not enlarge anything at all.
Power surge! Quick, the abort switches!
Once they return home, Wayne decides to call Mandy to babysit Adam so that he and Nick can spend some guy time together, hanging out and going to the movies.
I like charge $2.50 an hour. Unless, of course, I actually have to do anything like change diapers or clean up or something. In which case, the price goes up.
Oh no, all you have to do is just watch him, really.
Okay, see you at 3:30.
Okay.
However, electrical waves from the microwave have a growing effect on Adam, enlarging him and Big Bunny to over 7 feet tall.
We gotta get him back to the lab, analyze the data, and reverse the process.
One thing, Dad.
What?
You think the security guard might get suspicious us walking in with a 7-foot baby?
Uh-oh.
Good point.
Wayne and Nick try to take Adam back to the closed laboratory.
There. He looks like a badly dressed beekeeper.
Only to be confronted by Dr. Hendrickson, who warns Szalinski away. Returning home, Wayne and Nick find Diane back early and have to break the news to her.
All right, I confess, I did it!
Did what?
Peekaboo!
I blew up the baby!
She takes it as well as can be expected.
I'll kill Wayne.
You don't want to kill Wayne.
I want to kill Wayne.
Wayne realizes that he may be able to fix the situation with the original prototype of his shrinking machine, and he and Diane travel to the company warehouse to retrieve it. In the meantime, Nick tries to keep Giant Adam under control when Mandy arrives for the now forgotten babysitting job.
We changed our mind, that's all. We don't need a babysitter.
I don't think so.
Listen, Mandy, take it from me. You don't want to babysit. Not this baby.
Nick tries to calm her down and explain the situation while gagging her and tying her to a chair.
If you promise not to scream. Take the gag out of your mouth.
Classic Disney right there. While watching television, the electrical waves grow Adam to over 14 feet tall, and he escapes from the house. U.S. Marshals take Adam, Nick, and Mandy into custody and put Adam in a giant truck. Dr. Hendrickson chastises Wayne just as Clifford Sterling, the president of Sterling Labs, arrives on the scene. Enter actor Lloyd Bridges.
I can reverse my son's growth. Just give me a chance, sir. I can get him back to normal.
Can? Yeah. With what, Zelensky? Coca-Cola bottles? Maybe some, chewing gum and twine?
Sterling fires Hendrickson and decides to work with Zelensky to get the situation under control. In the meantime, U.S. Marshal Preston Brooks, played by actor Ron Canada, informs Wayne and Diane that Adam has grown even larger and escaped.
Electromagnetic flux.
Around every operating electrical device, there's a flux, like an electromagnetic force field.
That's what's causing the baby to grow.
He's headed toward Las Vegas.
Having been fired by Sterling, Dr. Hendrickson conspires with Wheeler to try and take matters into their own hands and use a helicopter as well as tranquilizer darts on poor little Adam. As Adam walks down the Las Vegas Strip, he and the whole family become a worldwide news story, with Wayne, Diane, and Sterling working frantically to try and shrink Adam back down to normal size.
Nothing can stop him now.
This movie was directed by Randall Kleiser, best known for directing the 1978 classic Grease, and it was not originally going to be a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It was originally titled Big Baby and was going to be about a toddler in a freak accident who grew to a giant size and terrorized Las Vegas. Disney realized, hey, we could make this a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they rewrote the baby script for that. Sadly for Amy O'Neill, there was no parallel character in that script for the teenage daughter Amy, so she only appears briefly in this sequel going off to college. I think they could have easily replaced the babysitter role with Amy's character and again had Nick and Amy in a predicament as brother and sister, but they clearly wanted to lean towards a teenage romance plot between Nick and the babysitter. The original title of this movie was going to be Honey, I Blew Up the Baby.
I blew up the baby!
But it was changed due to fears of negative feedback. So instead of blowing up the baby, they made it blowing up the kid. I guess that's better? I don't know. Disney also found itself subject to a lawsuit by a man named Paul Alter, a director who claimed that he wrote a screenplay called Now That's a Baby. It was basically this movie. The case went to trial in 1993 and he won. Disney was forced to pay him $300,000. This movie was a box office hit, but not as much as the original, but it still made over $96 million. The film ended up being quite popular with police officers. Like the first movie, it was in theaters the same time as a Michael Keaton Batman film, this time Batman Returns. However, rapper Ice-T came out with a song called Cop Killer, and the song was released by Warner Brothers.
There is absolutely no reason for a record like this to be published by a responsible corporation.
Stand against those who use films or records or television or video games to glorify killing law enforcement officers. It is sick.
Many police departments around the country told their members to go see Honey, I Blew Up the Kid instead of the Warner Brothers film Batman Returns. That did help this movie's box office intake.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Nothing can stop him now.
Starts Friday, July 17th at a theater near you.
Kerry Russell was really, really great as the teenage love interest babysitter.
That's for saving my life.
Wasn't much. I don't mean your life wasn't much.
And this was her big movie debut that would eventually lead to even more success in her career. I think the introduction of Lloyd Bridges and Kerry Russell as new characters really give this sequel a breath of fresh air.
I feel that within this man is a genius, because he has such unusual ideas. And I just have faith in them, that's all, somehow.
I saw this movie when it was pretty new, and I actually remember when I was about 5 years old, it was one of the very first times I ever went over to a friend's house to play. After we played outside for a couple of hours, we went inside and we watched this movie. I actually think I like this one more than the original. Don't get me wrong, the original's a classic and it's great, but I find this film just as good, if not even more entertaining. Like the original, I'll go ahead and give Honey, I Blew Up the Kid 8 out of 10 stars.